excellence in sales. He is an acclaimed corporate trainer specializing in sales, leadership, and soft skills. Dr. Odabor's reputation as a sought-after speaker extends to conferences, seminars, and corporate events across the globe. His dynamic delivery, combined with his extensive knowledge and expertise, ensures that audiences leave enlightened, motivated, and equipped to tackle new challenges with confidence. As a trusted coach, he leads a community of senior managers and executives, offering invaluable insights into career growth and transition. He helps them unlock their full potential and live their best lives. Holding an executive MBA from Lagos Business School and demonstrating an unwavering commitment to continuous learning, Dr. Odabor is dedicated to cultivating a network of global talent who excel in today's dynamic business landscape.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your favorite emoji in the chat room. Can I see you? Welcome, Dr. Odabor, to the platform. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Adepoju. Thank you so much. I love the energy you bring to this. And I'm just blushing. I'm just blushing after seeing my own profile. So thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Odabor. I'm excited to be here. Emmanuel, hi. Good to see you, Emmanuel. Hello.
Hello, yes, we can hear you. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. The room is filling up. I can see many people are jumping into the meetings. I'm admitting them as we speak, actually. Right?
Okay,
so
you can leave the admitting so that you are not distracted.
Sure.
And we're actually streaming live also, so it's just so you know.
I know.
So
no problem. So
the people here.
Shoot you any questions you want to ask, I'll gladly answer them. And I like the way you put context to the meeting. I love what you mentioned, how people work in jobs they don't like, but they are still there complaining and complaining. And there's something I also heard recently, which is nobody really cares. I heard it about a few days ago, and it really struck a chord in me. Nobody really cares about your career or your life in general. Yes, your family care about you, and those around you care about you. But what that phrase means is that you are the only one that can change your life. Nobody will do it for you. You can give all the excuses you want to give, but if you do not get up and make a decision and start working towards changing your life, nobody will do it for you. It's like food. Nobody eats food for you. Nobody will drink water for you. No matter how much your family loves you, no matter how your friends love you, nobody will do those things for you. So thank you again for having me on the platform. I'm excited to share as much knowledge and insights that I can. So I would love to hear the questions so that we can break this table and give value.
Okay, so basically you're supposed to have like a 20-30 minutes presentation. Then Pastor Bukunmi comes up. Then we'll now have the questions after.
Okay. I'll just talk freely then. I'll talk on personal experiences and I'll share about 7 to 10 different principles that have helped me. Okay. So good to go. So for me, let me start from the beginning. I used to be a doctor. I used to be a dentist in particular. And what influenced me going down medical line? Like you said, most of our professions are chosen by our parents. In my case, my parents are also medical professionals. So I naturally gravitated towards the medical field. And I chose dentistry. When I got into dentistry, it just dawned on me like, no, I don't want to do this. This is not going to be my life. And I had that recognition early on. Lucky for me, early on I had that recognition. I was probably in year 3 when I realized that this is too much work. This is too much stress to gain X amount of money. And I could look at I was seeing my seniors, consultants, and the likes. I could see that they were successful in their career, but I could see there was no much, let me put it down to money. I couldn't see that availability of abundance of wealth around it. And there was so much pressure on the work to finish exam after exam, exam after exams, work after work. But I had a calling to do something more. I wanted to do something more exciting. So I finished my studies. I went to my housemanship. I did my NYSC. And 2010 was the last time I saw a patient. Like, I knew I was done. There was nothing anybody was going to tell me that was going to make me go back to it. So the first thing for me, I would share is, what is your personal vision? What's your personal vision for yourself, right? If you don't have that vision, you're almost like a ship or a canoe on the ocean, just floating. Wherever the waves hit you, you just float, right? So even before I stopped, I had a plan. I knew I was good in sales. I was good at selling. I was just good at selling stuff. My brother traveled to Dubai. He brought things. I took them. I went to sell them to my friends, sold them to my friends' parents. And they were curious, like, why are you selling stuff? Like, they knew I was from a good home. They knew that money wasn't my problem. So but I just said, I just felt like selling. I liked it. And they actually patronized me because of that. Right? So I was good at selling. So before I stopped practice, I started up a business which involved buying and selling. So I was selling wristwatches, I was selling jewelry, I was selling clothes. I was in Lagos 2010. So I kept doing that. I had built a network of friends around me. I was selling on Facebook and all. But after a while, it was a bit of a struggle because I'll sell some. I was single. I was able to take care of myself. But I realized along the way that this is not this can't get me to where I want to go, right? Luckily, my sister now introduced me to somebody else who had a company that sold medical gas. So I was introduced to the person. I went to see the person. I actually went to sell a wristwatch to him. End of the day, he didn't buy the wristwatch. But guess what? He gave me a job because he saw the way I sold the wristwatch. He saw that I just didn't come and just started selling the watch to him. I built a rapport to him. I asked questions. Before I brought out the watch, there was a science to it. So for me, there's a science to selling, right? So he loved that cool aspect. I was like, wow, impressive selling techniques. And he gave me a job. That's my second principle, which is you must have a mentor. You must have a mentor who guides you, who teaches you some things you don't know. So I did that job for about 3 to 6 months, right? Where I was everywhere in Lagos. I was just going around Lagos. I was knocking on all the doors, everything. And funny thing, true life story, I walked Lagos so much that I actually had a hole in my shoe. But I had gone scouting every hospital. I had a hole in my shoe at the end of the day because I had filed my shoe from walking so much in Lagos. So that leads me to my third point, third principle, which is 80-20. In sales and everything you do, there's the 20% that can drastically change your life. There's the 20% that will drastically change your life. 20% of your customers will give you 80% of your revenue. 20% of your products will sell better than 80% of your other products. 20% of your team that you manage are the star players. They do better than 80% of everybody else. I learned that principle just from that whole exercise. Guess what? I worked with that company 3 to 6 months, and that led me to my next job, which was GlaxoSmithKline. How did I land GlaxoSmithKline? GlaxoSmithKline was a sales, I was a medical rep. I didn't even know there was even a job like medical rep, right? But I had done so well in that first particular job. So when the opportunity came for this one, when they interviewed me, they just loved me. I was a dentist. They hired me to sell Sensodyne. So if you ever heard of Sensodyne in 2011, 2012, I and my team were the ones pushing it in all the hospitals, all the dental clinics, pharmacies were the ones pushing it there. So it was a dream come true. Like I was just on cloud nine, right? Brand new car, brand new laptop, car, traveled to Kenya, traveled to where did I travel again? Kenya, where? Abidjan, I think South Africa. It was just a dream, right? So you literally have to have a dream. Remember, I mentioned the first thing is personal vision of yourself and a goal of yourself and a dream. You have to have a dream, right? So I was literally living my dream. It was almost too good to be true. I had fun doing it, and immediately I entered that job. Like in 1 month, I landed one of the biggest orders in my region, and that led me to win the best detailing rep for that year. I was I was insane about it. I was like, this is my dream, so I'm going to do everything to be the best, right? And after that, I now moved on. I was in GSK for like 4 years. I moved on to General Electric. General Electric was another dream come true. I moved from GSK to General Electric. I had like 10 times increase in my pay. Like everything just was, I was just like, is this even possible? Are there even companies like this in Lagos? And how did I get that job? Which is my next point. Networking. Network. Your network will help you get you from where you are to where you need to be or to your next level. I was on LinkedIn. It was time for me to leave that job. I had literally got to the point where there was no more growth. I've had a personal challenge, one of my bosses. So it was just like, you've done everything to do. Where's the next place to move? And I just saw on LinkedIn someone's profile. I loved his profile, the achievements he had had. I didn't even know there was a company like G in Nigeria. But I had read books about General Electric, right? So my next point, read, read, read. I love the fact that your community is called Read. Books can change your life, literally. Information changes your life. That is the beauty of this life. Because I met this person, I had learned about networking. I reached out to him. I love your profile. I want to learn more about you. I didn't even come forth, which is meant the mistake many people make. They come straight and say, I'm looking for a job. They now go all through all the victim mentality, where I'm working now. I'm tired. Nobody's going to hire you. Nobody's going to give you a helping hand with that kind of thinking. I reached out to him that I want to learn about him. How did he achieve what he did? And we agreed to speak on a particular day. And we spoke for over 1 hour. And he just told me about himself. After that, we agreed to meet in person. We went to the office. The office was so beautiful. Like I couldn't believe there was even an office like that in Nigeria. It was like, wow. It was a mansard place on in there. I went there, there was open roof, beautiful. Everybody was just so touch and nice. Anyway, he connected me to a friend. That friend had a series of informal interviews with me. Literally, just called me to a room and called that friend. Oh, come, Alex, come. Oh, you come and let's talk with this guy. Very important point. Don't think an interview has to be formal. That it has to be formal and arranged. Every interaction you have with any person is an interview. I was having interviews on the spot. And within 6 months, a role was created for me, and I moved from GSK to General Electric. Now, 10 times my package, like I mentioned, everything from the benefits, the salary, everything was just amazing. After that, I worked in GE for about 2.5 years, right? It was beautiful. It was just a nice experience. I worked first as the contract staff the first year. I did very well in that role. I was now nominated to become a permanent staff. I did that for 1.5 years. And then I left. Again, at this time, for me, it was time for me to move on. I knew it was time to move on. I had done everything I wanted to do again, and I had reached a particular level. There was no more growth. Now, at that time, I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't know why I was getting restless. But back to my first principle, what is your personal goal, your personal vision for yourself? That was just guiding me like a wave. I was just moving from one thing to the next thing and growing, and I was moving. Because now, as in G, I was now a manager. I was not a regional manager. I was managing a portfolio across Nigeria, Ghana, and forgotten the third country, and one other country. So I was just enjoying that space. So when I left, I now moved back to my own side hustle, which was my lifestyle business. I did that for 2 years before an old manager who I knew called me back. That Odabor, come, you're too good to be doing your own thing. Come and be my regional sales manager. And that's why I moved to Mary Stopes International. And I worked there for another 1.5 years. And I entered that company in a crisis. The company was in the middle of a crisis. They were restructuring the business. There was so many things they were doing, hiring new staff. So I got into the company. I started doing what I do, right? And I was able to transform the company by delivering key results, which is brings us to another point, which is start with what you have in your hand. Whatever job or role you have, don't expect for everything to be perfect. Don't expect to have a limitless budget. If you have it, all good and fine. But I started with what do I have in my hands? They wanted me to recruit new distributors, want me to restructure business, change my team. But I said, okay, instead of going to look for new distributors, who are the distributors we have on ground now? Who are even the wholesalers? And I found within the clients we already had a golden company which we're not maximizing. And I sat down and looked at the history of financial history we've had with the person, and I converted that person to a major distributor, and that was a game changer for me. That like solved half of my problems, right? So there's a mindset to this whole, which are things that have helped me. You have to have a mindset of being resourceful, being accountable. You have to own your career, own your life, right? And you grow yourself with knowledge, you grow yourself with your network. But it gets to a point where you now give yourself to others. That's your team, start managing a team. And this role was really the role I had to manage directly people, about 8 people under me across the region. So it was really interesting to see how I could impact them and even sometimes stand up for what I believe in. Because there was a particular guy I was supposed to fire. James was his name. And it's very easy to get carried away as a leader because when numbers are not adding up, the first person that is not delivering, you also hack that person. And I felt empathy for the guy because in my own career, I'd seen times where I saw leaders demonstrate empathy. I saw terrible leaders who didn't demonstrate empathy. They're very robotic in nature. But I held this guy, kept him close. I mentored him, taught him in the art of selling, even bought him this book, Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. That's, to me, one of the best books in selling. And within 6 months, this guy delivered exceptionally well. He became the second best performer in his region, right? Apart from selling techniques, he didn't have a distributor in his region. So there was a struggle for him to get goods. But every month we are saying he's not delivering. Every month we are saying he's not meeting the target. But I said, this guy doesn't have a distributor. So I had to go to his region, help him get a distributor, help him get comfortable because at this point he was even down. He was even feeling miserable, feeling as if he wasn't worth it. So we have to be careful as leaders to also impact. Don't just put people down, right? We are not gods in quotes. Try and give value to people you work with. Raise them up, raise them. Don't put people down, right? I did that for 2 years and I left. And when I left the business was going through another major transition, right? And I realized that this business I'm working in the next 1 year, literally it wasn't aligning with my vision anymore, right? And so I left the business after about 1.5 years. And then I decided that I have seen good leaders, I've seen bad leaders. And I want to be a good leader. I want to teach. I want to start talking about this thing. Everything I've learned. I've worked with multinationals. I've worked with expatriates. I've worked with Nigerian leaders. I've seen good bosses, terrible bosses. I want to start teaching and talking about truths. And I just started that, okay, I'm going to start training. I asked a friend, I'm good in sales. I worked sales all my life. I want to start training on sales. And he said, okay, great. Come and train my company. And I came. He was the chief commercial officer. I trained his team. They were excited. They were amazed. I started speaking on LinkedIn. So I'm very active on LinkedIn. I started speaking on LinkedIn about leadership, about sales, about living your best life, basically. And before I know it started snowballing. I started this in 2021. Yes, 2021. And between 2021 and now, I have spoken on platforms where there are thousands of people. I have trained multinational companies. I have a partner, I have some partners now. We do trainings every quarter, and we help companies who want to grow, middle companies who want to grow. We teach about strategy, innovation. So I just saw myself evolving. And guess what? When you're clear on your goals, your personal goals, you start attracting opportunities to you. It's like magic. You start attracting opportunities to you that will help you live that goal, right? So I've just been in that it's very amazing and very, very magical, honestly. And at the core of it all is God. Is God. Like this God we talk about, he's not far-fetched, he's really inside you. And it takes bravery to step into that unknown, right? So comfort zone is a very, 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 very dicey thing, in your workplace, in your life, that comfort zone, right? You have to get back to business. What's my vision? What do I want to do? If you stay in a company 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that is amazing. But let that be your choice. Let that be what you want to do in life, right? Like you have to just be great at something. I also always have a plan B. In everything I mentioned, just my story, there was always the plan B that I leveraged on, right? And it has helped me countless times. And I'm at the point now where I'm just happy to just share my truth, inspire people, help people reach their next level, help people grow, right? So, in a nutshell, that's my story. And I would want to rephrase and say a few things that have helped me. First, like I mentioned, your personal vision must guide you. And your personal vision has to be something that you want to help, want to impact people, not just about you, but your vision helps, makes things better, right? Get a mentor. At whatever level you are in your career, I must have a mentor. Me, I have like 3 mentors for different aspects of my life right now. Have a mentor. 3, work for companies that, if you can work for a company that's aligned with your vision, that's amazing, right? But if you can't get that company, wherever you are, do amazingly well in that space. Don't wait for something else. Where you are, be excellent, be amazing wherever you are. Number 4, read books, read autobiographies. Learn from people's stories. Be an expert in your field, technical expertise. You can't take that away. Number 5, network. Network in the right circles, right? If you want to do great in your workplace, you have to be a great speaker. You have to be able to speak up and present and articulate your thoughts. There's work. There's Toastmaster International Club. It's all over the world. It's in Nigeria. It's everywhere. In Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, there's a Toastmasters Club. They teach you how to speak confidently. Like I went to I was part of it in Abuja, and it transformed my thinking. Right? When I see speakers like Obama, I'm like, wow, people can talk like this. People can literally. So there's nothing you can't learn. You are the best machine that will ever be on this earth. Your brain is smarter than you ever knew. Right? So yeah, those are 5 principles I just mentioned. I don't remember the rest I mentioned. So you can help me recap that. So in a nutshell, that's my story. So today, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, career coach, and it's just exciting. I just share my truth on LinkedIn and a lot of other things I'm working on. But I'm just in the point that at this point in my life, I just want to add impact. I also add impact. I also want to enjoy my life. This life to be enjoyed, right? And all thanks to God. God is real. You really have to find a way to learn these truths and apply it in your life. So that's it. I'll take questions at this point.
Wow, woo, please. If your life is transformed already, can I start seeing the reactions in the chat room? That
I'm
was
blushing. I'm blushing.
that was real. That was real. One of the things that really stood out for me is the start of your story. Imagine going into medical school, and by year 3, you knew that that wasn't what you wanted to do with your life. That is absolutely mind-blowing. And you said something about you have to be brave. I know a lot of people. There's this medical doctor friend of mine that every time I speak with him, I'm like, guy, why are you here? And I know quite a number of people that when we actually speak in depth, I can see the reason why they are where they are is because of the fear of changing. And there's this quote that I love so much that says, no matter how much you travel on a wrong road, you can never get your desired destination. So the first thing is you have to change direction. Now, for somebody that has been through that, your parents were doctors. They want their Odogu son to be a doctor. And the Odogu son now wants to be selling wristwatch up and down Lagos. Not the village people be that. How were you able to handle parental pressure, societal pressure, people's expectation? It's easy to say, be brave, be brave. What were the things that helped you? I heard you say that you had to trek Lagos until you had a hole in your shoes. Those challenging moments, what puts you through? Would like to have more insights into that. Thank you, Doctor. Hello, Doc. If you are speaking, we can't hear you just yet. Okay, while we're waiting for Doctor to come back up, I don't know even. Okay, are you back now, sir? Good. So if you want me to repeat the question, your number one point was have a personal vision. And you said by 300 level, you just knew that medicine was not it for you, despite being born into a medical family, so to say, and it's been a prestigious career. And you were able to bravely step out and create another niche. So the question is this. It's easy to say, let's be brave when we're in exciting webinars like this. When the going was tough, when it looked like you were crazy and you had to convince your parents, convince people around you, how did you handle those tough times? What exactly is brave? Thank you. That's my question.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Sorry for the disconnect initially. Yes, was my parents were very supportive. I think as parents, they already saw the trend in me and they just supported me. They didn't argue with me. It was like, okay, fine. He seems to know what he's doing, and they let me be. So I was already making money before school finished. So they just let me be, and I had this 1 year to just figure out what I wanted to do. And everything just naturally took its course. I think they were worried, obviously. And that's when my sister came in. She connected me to somebody in the medical line who was already in the medical business. So that gave me direction. Because honestly, I didn't have it all figured out. I knew my basics was being covered. My food, my basics was covered. But working in that company gave me direction to, okay, medical line, go sell. We've learned selling now, go sell. So it was just something for me to prove myself that I'm good in sales. And I learned very quickly about profiling, which is one important thing in sales. How do I choose the right customers, right clients? And after I worked there for a short period, that's when the bigger company came. But if I wasn't a doctor, they wouldn't have hired me. If I didn't have sales in sales experience, they wouldn't have hired me. So everything, like I said, is magical when you know where you want to go. And it just fell in line. And guess what? Because they were hiring, Sensodyne just came to the country and was literally looking to grow their themselves in the market. That's why they're looking for a dentist with selling experience, and I just happen to be there. So it's magical, but trust me, it's scary. I'm not going to play like as if it's one. It's a scary experience. You have to be really be brave, because when there's no money in your pocket, there's no money in your pocket. So, so that was even for me as an early graduate. So this is a different conversation for graduates. Now, let's fast forward to people who are in their late 30s, 40s, married with families and everything. How do you even transit? Then say transit. First thing I would advise that you must have a marketable skill. Apart from your 9 to 5, you must be earning something from your side hustle. Side hustle makes it seem, how will I say now, makes it sound too small. Your side hustle, it must be something marketable, something that is in demand. And you start, if you get good at it, you already have your network of friends who will gladly use you, gladly pay you for that service. So how do you find a way to create that kind of atmosphere that people know that you do this, and that gives you that extra income that you can build and fall back on, right? So that would be my advice, my answer to that.
Okay. Wow, wow, amazing. For the people listening to us, these are lots of very thought-provoking things. And, you know, he said something, and I found it very true, that it's all in the plan. It's never wasted. You know, when I hear people say, I wasted 5 years of my life, I wasted 3 years of my life, I did this, I did that.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like,
No.
you don't understand. The dots all connect. So
They
please, this
do,
night,
they
and that's the
do.
way it is on Read. You are sitting down. He asks that thing, what is that you have in your hands? Because it is in your hands. What you have in your hands, I don't have it in my hands. We are two extremely different people. There is nobody that is your exact replica. Nobody has
Exactly.
your exact experience. And if you understand how to harness all of this, okay, that's a bit difficult. That's where the mentor thing comes in, because there has to be somebody that has an objective aerial view sometimes that would help you say, you see, this your medical profession. And you are not just an anyhow medical doctor. See the romance. You are a dentist. This role is for a dentist that has sales experience. I mean, what are the odds? How many people can compete with you in that space? So when we are saying, what do you have in your hands? You are looking at what makes you unique. That edge that you have. And he equally said something that is very, very, very profound. Our soundtrack that we started with today is, we are the world. We are the ones that would make this world a better place. He talked about we being our best version. It's a personal challenge, I tell myself. Anything I have to do, please. When they are looking for the mediocres, in fact, people don't look for mediocres anyway. So when they are looking for the best people in that field, they must find me. They must look for me. Sometimes I'm talking to people and I'm like, okay, so you're in this organization. You have a lot of bad things to say about the organization. Have they ever nominated you as a best performer in that place? What are the golden things that they can say you've done? And at the end of the day, it's people that would nominate you. It's people that would call out your name. He spoke about how he got into marriage stuff. It was based on his previous experience. We'll soon be having Pastor Bukunmi come up on board. And one of the things I know that I gained from Pastor Bukunmi's session that just absolutely blew me, I think that was like 2 years ago, you know, he was giving all of these tips. And one of the tips he gave is that, see, don't go and sit with them where they are saying bad things about your boss. So the person that is paying your salary, you are now sitting down, you are chief critique officer. You know, see as they do, you know, see, once they just start that conversation, carry your load, both the one way heavy and the one way light. And I was like, wow. Yes, I don't deliberately get into negative talk, but I've never thought of like distancing myself from anything negative. And I took one of that as one of the key action points from the, once you just start, it's your opinion. Please go and continue with your opinion. I will not be part of it. And we don't know how much these things are damaging our career. We don't know how much it is damaging our lives. Now, I'm zeroing in on this for now before I bring in Pastor Bukunmi shortly. He spoke about, because there are lots of things he said in here. You have to go back and listen to this recording. I can't unpack everything. Now, he spoke about getting a mentor. I know people that will say, everybody get their own problem. No mind all of these people, when I just packaging, they package, I just waiting, they won't make you see. That's why you are still where you are. Rule of the thumb for me, anybody that is not under an authority, I can't hang around that person. Is rule of the thumb, because we are all built by someone. So by the time you are flexing muscle that, oh, it's only me, I can figure it out by myself. All I need is just by the time you join YouTube, you join it to AI, you join it to this, you join it. Okay, I wish you good luck. Some of the best decisions I've made in my life has come from paid mentorship. And I'm telling you guys the unabridged truth. In fact, when you look at my budget for the year, it's always part of my budget. I pay for knowledge. And it has helped me in more ways than I can quantify, because cheap is cheap. Because the next question will be also, how do you identify mentors? How do you attract mentors? How do you do this? How do you do that? So, Dr. Odabor, I know that you do mentoring, you have some paid mentoring. And me personally, I know that what you get from paid version is always different from premium. So I just want you to tell us a bit about your paid mentoring and all of that for people that will be interested. And yes, his LinkedIn handle has been dropped in the chat room. Please do yourself lots of good to follow his handle. Thank you.
So thank you very much for that. I love that you recapped everything. I liked what you said, those people that complain and gossip, and you said that's why they are still there. Really, you really can't just do life on your own. You learn a lot when you work in a crowd, in a network of people of like minds who are growing together and bringing together new skills, new information that's helping them grow in leaps and bounds. So for my career coaching program, I do one-on-one mostly, and usually people reach out to me. They have these problems in their career, they want to move to their next level, and I've seen most times it's really a mindset gap. It's not always the problem in the company. The individual is the first person. So I usually have a monthly session with individuals, and the cost really depends on the problem and depends on what issues they have. So for anyone that wants to have that coaching mentoring session with me, tap me up. I'll give you details. It's not cheap. Let me put it there. It's not cheap. It's not expensive either. So you can reach me out on LinkedIn or through my contact information shared by you. So that's my mentorship career coaching program. And I'll be launching a networking club by April. It's going to be a physical event where I'll invite like-minded people together and help people connect people to each other, right? And it's in line with my career coaching. So I'll also share that information when it's available. Thank you very much, Mr. Dekodru. I really appreciate this.
Okay, thank you. I'll soon be bringing up Pastor Bukunmi, and I heard him say it's not cheap and it's not expensive. And I always say cheap and expensive is relative. So I'll drop some
relative, exactly.
Yes, it depends on where you're going. I remember having a session with one of my coaches, I think it was 2 years ago, And while the guy was talking, I mean, as the guy entered us, I won't forget. While the guy was talking, the guy now went like, "Oh, that he's doing a coaching session now, and that he's paying his coach $30,000." All of us were like this, the way he just slide back, and everybody in the room was shocked. And the guy like looked at us like $30,000 for what? And the guy was like, actually, it now ties back to personal vision. He says, when your destiny is cheap, your investment will be cheap. All of us are like this, coach, you finished us. But you understand that where you are going to is very far. You are trying to make $1 million. 30,000 is a fraction.
It's cheap.
It's cheap.
The fraction is cheap.
And we're like, okay, we get it. Another example I'll give, my friend Joyce Daniel, and that just changed my perspective. And she was like, when she gave our own training budget for herself that year, in my mind, and that's why you need to be in the company of like-minded people. In my mind, I was like, what? You're going to spend this much? And she didn't know what I was thinking. If I'm not sure I've had this conversation with her. And she went like, do you know how much pilots pay to become pilots? Do you know how much medical doctors pay to be? If you are going to be a professional in XYZ field, do you know how much investment it takes? So you cannot pay to like an amateur and expect a professional output. It's just that simple. But yes, it all starts from your personal vision. And I know a number of people, and this started changing my thinking for myself personally while I bring up Pastor Bukunmi now. It started changing my thinking for myself that every organization that is worthwhile, they have training budgets. In fact, people go to say, I want to work with an organization that trains people. And you don't think that you should have a training budget for yourself. You are outsourcing your training to your organization. You are not asking yourself, this year, 2025, how much do I need to spend to become the person I need to become? While I bring on Pastor Bukunmi, we still have Dr. Odabor here. I would rehash a story. I'm sure we all heard it, but let me say it again so that you can hear it again. He said he was working somewhere. I hear a lot of people complain about the environment. And as he said, it's just a mindset thing. And that's why you need mentors. That he did not know that this kind of thing existed in Nigeria. And the same him, with the same skill sets, was able to land a job that was paying him 10 times what he was doing before. And he equally said that interviews, I had to put that in the chat room, because I see people saying they are preparing for interview. Meanwhile, they don't know that interview they are preparing for, they failed it years ago. You don't know people are sitting down, they are listening. As you are talking, they are hearing what you are saying. You don't know they are interviewing you. It's both formal and informal. Not until you wear shirt and tie and now enter into the room. There are people that have already written you off based on what you've said. And there are some people in this room that honestly need to go and reevaluate themselves. So when I hear people tell me, oh, they are not paying me what I'm worth, I say, okay. Please, how did you arrive to the conclusion of this thing that you are worth? The price of a thing is how much people are ready to pay in exchange of it. Go and price yourself for markets. So that's another work I'm giving somebody today. If you feel that where you are right now, they are not paying you well enough for it, please go and price yourself for markets. Put up your CV, this and that and that and that is what I can do. Go and try 2, 3, 4, 5 places. How much are you willing to pay for my skills? That would give you an idea of what you're actually worth in the market. It's a very simple exercise to do, I hope. And the last but not the least is, he said, marketable skill. Please ensure you do not sleep this night until you've written at least 3 skills that you have that you can sell. Then you start understanding that your environment, your leaders are not as much as a problem as much as the enemy within. What skills do you have that if today it casts, it can market you? What skills do you have that can put food on your table, irrespective of what? One of the things I love in his profiles is he spoke about soft skills. A lot of people, if you ask them now, they say, I'm an engineer, I'm a quantity surveyor. What does that even mean? Degree that you had 20 years ago on technology that is obsolete. You now expect me to come and put money on it? Like, seriously? I graduated 20 years ago. And can you? So what? And these are hard, real truths that we need to tell ourselves if we will be relevant in the world of today. Please, if everything we've been saying is making sense to you, can I see the emojis in the chat room? And can I see MS? Making sense, as we bring up Pastor Bukunmi for his session. Let me play the profile. Okay, please, let's hold on. Please, you people should just stay. Keep your questions because we'll now be having serious. Not this for me, and we were just gisting. It was just gist. Your questions, please keep it till after Pastor Bukunmi's session. Let me just share Pastor Bukunmi's profile.
Bukunmi is an Associate Director in the Tax Managed Services Group of the Tax Regulatory and People Services Division of KPMG West Africa. He is a graduate of English Language from the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife and an Associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Bukunmi currently provides strategic leadership in the management of a broad portfolio of clients which cuts across diverse sectors including oil and gas, consumer markets, manufacturing, and fast-moving consumer goods. Specifically, he manages engagements bordering on immigration compliance and advisory, personal income tax compliance, tax audits and resolution of assessments, resolution of audit issues on payroll-related statutory contributions across multiple states. Bukunmi has a brilliant reputation in KPMG where he has consistently volunteered to help the firm achieve its objectives by serving as a people leader, a member of the Recognition Steering Committee, Compensation Review Committee, among several other initiatives. He is passionate about helping to improve the overall experience of KPMG talent and further the promise of KPMG as a great place to work. Over the years, Bukunmi has built a reputation in Nigeria as a key voice on matters relating to expatriate employment and residency. He exemplified this in his active participation at stakeholders fora organized by the Federal Ministry of Interior and the Nigeria Immigration Service to review policies in the management of expatriate employment matters in Nigeria. Bukunmi is passionate about helping people to improve their output at work and is an avid speaker and reader. He enjoys interacting with people, watching quiz shows, singing and spending time with his family. He is married to Tolulope, a supply chain manager with a leading telecommunications infrastructure provider in Nigeria, and they are blessed with a son and a daughter.
Ladies and gentlemen, with great excitement in the chat room, please welcome with me Pastor Bukunmi. I love to call him Pastor.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. I've had to spend some time to pray on my network. I've been hovering between several network providers, and I hope you can hear me. So let us all pray that the network will stay true. I am very excited to be here, and I was going to share my screen, but because of the bandwidth, I would probably just decide not to. Or let me see, let's try, because visual images are powerful. So let me just try to share my presentation and let's see how that works. But if at any time it affects the delivery, then we will just switch to audio. Or is it? Hello, Coach, are you there?
This is not coming up. Okay, now we can see it. Wow, woo!
We can see it.
I love this. Breaking the glass ceiling.
Okay, you love it, but I would say some things that may make you not to love it again shortly. Okay, then we will get right into it. I have about 40 minutes to share, and I will try as much as possible. I have a lot of stories from my experience over the years, and I would like to thank every single person who is in this room. I'd like to first of all thank Tumininu, who is my sister from another mother. So you may see me looking right and left at different times because I'm using multiple devices. But just listen to me. I hope you won't be distracted. By the way, I'm in my children's room. So in case you see a bunk, did I go off? I want to be sure I've not gone off. I hope you can still see it. I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes,
and I'm putting it on slideshow.
Yes, we can.
But I don't know why it's not. Okay, good. So we'll continue. But if the screen goes off, just keep listening to me. I'm on 2 devices, so I'm hoping that this one will stay true on the call. Now, the first thing I would like to say is this. Okay, before I even get to that, let me thank Dr. Odabor, who has set the context, and he has made my job a lot easier because it did cover a few of the things that I will talk about, but I'll try to expand the conversation further, and I hope and I trust that you will find it worthwhile. Please, at any time, if you do not hear me, just let me know. I am hoping that this will stay true, all true. So thank you to Mininu, thank you, Dr. Odabor, and thank you everyone who has joined. My immediate boss is in the room. I am so pumped up for this. And she's in the room, and she is part of my story of almost 16 years of my career. And I will touch a bit on things like on that experience as I go through my presentation. And I mean, if your boss joins a webinar where you're sharing, it speaks to something, right? But we'll come back to that later. The test of a not just first, it is also, I think, so I will try again to share my screen, but if it doesn't work, we'll just stick to the audio. Okay, I hope everybody is fine with that. Okay, so this is on the first purchase. It is about the repeat purchase. Dr. Odabor is an sale, and I know that what determines the success of a sale is not that people buy the product the first time. Is your ability to convince them to go back to buy it the second time, the third time, the fourth time, and to keep going to buy it, that same product. The end program has demonstrated consistent. You can still hear me. I'm just checking because the other device seems to be going on and off, but I hope you can still hear me on this audio. Coach, please confirm before I continue.
It's cracking a bit.
I hope you can still hear me.
It's cracking a bit, yeah.
Okay, so let me try something different. Is it the same experience for everybody? Is it cracking for everybody else? Let me go and borrow.
But it's better now. It's better now.
It's better now. How is it now? Okay, I'm probably going to stop, try to do video, and I will just stick to the audio. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. Time is the greatest resource that everybody has. And so when you dedicate your time, okay, just a little bit. So I'll just keep pushing. and trust that you can get the value out of it. When you dedicate your time to something like a program like this, it means that you believe that it will give you value. And I hope that so far you found it valuable. Now, the truth is that 40 minutes is not enough to really, for me to tell the story of how you can, quote and unquote, break the glass ceiling as you seek to advance your career. But what I will say is I will try to share as much as possible that will provide a context that people can run with. Many of us are different. At an advanced stage, but I believe you will still be able to utilize some of those lessons that I will share, in managing people, in handling challenges that will come, because those are bound to happen. Now, I just run quickly to talk about, I try to define things whenever I'm presenting. Just look at what are the contexts. What's the context that we're looking at? So we're looking at the topic, career advancement, and then we're looking at, breaking the glass ceiling. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is that in the journey of career advancement, it is a process. Career advancement itself is a process. It's a journey. It is not an end in itself. It is not something that happens and you say you have apprehended. Like Paul said, permit me to quote from the scripture. It says, not as having apprehended, then I keep pushing, I press towards a goal. And so it's a process by which professionals across various industries, wow, I hope you can still hear me. I keep continue. Use their skill sets and determination to achieve new career goals. Now, look at the skill sets. So it means that in the journey of career advancement, you need to develop certain skills, because those skills are the things that will position you to actually take on opportunities. It's like when opportunity meets preparation. There are many people that have lost opportunities over the years in their life because they were not ready, either because they had the wrong mindset or because they settled for the comfort zone and they were not willing to push themselves beyond what they were doing. And I tell you for free, in the journey of career advancement, you will have to solve difficult problems. What sets people apart is not that their attendance at the office. It's not their presence when people see them. It is not your presence that will distinguish you. It is the value that you bring to the table. And I tell you, you be interested in finding the difficult problems where you are and solving those difficult problems. If you are only solving general issues, you're just addressing routine matters, you will be part of the crowd. And I mean, what will set you apart are those difficult issues that you took headlong, that other people ran away from, that when there was a call for people to volunteer, to organize an event, to resolve an issue in the office, to solve a challenge, to refine and and revamp a process, and you say, okay, me, I don't want what I'm doing. I'm already, I have a lot on my hands already. Even though you know that you can actually take on more, you are missing the opportunities to create lasting impressions that will set you apart. Now, there's this context of a glass ceiling, and I had that image. I hope you can still hear me as I move forward. I had that image on the screen, the glass ceiling. But I want to tell you today, as I meditated on this topic, I found out that really, there's really no need to shatter a glass ceiling. And I will explain myself. Look at that lady, because if you shatter a glass ceiling, two things could happen. You could injure other people that are above the ceiling. Because when you say there's a ceiling, it means that there's a level that you're hoping to get to. So what are you going to do? Are you breaking the ceiling that all of them will now fall down and everybody will get injured? What exactly are you trying to achieve? So what I would like to say today, I know this is probably the first time that people will hear it being said this way, is that you actually do not need to go looking for ceilings to shatter. What you should be more concerned about is drawing enough attention to yourself that those that seem to be above that ceiling that you think is preventing you from going beyond your current level, notice you enough for them to open the ceiling and draw you up and say, come and join us here where we are. So there's no need looking for ceilings to shatter, because people at times they're looking, they think it's by being aggressive and trying to put other people down and trying to make other people look bad that they will become exceptional. No, you do not need to shatter any ceiling. See, the lady, if you shatter a ceiling, just look at it logically. The glass will fall on your head. You will get injured. You will find yourself in the hospital. Yes, I know it's figurative. But what you should be saying is there are people above that ceiling. What did they do to get there? Stop thinking that, oh, no, you're not everybody. Some of them sucked up. Some of them, they sucked up to the leader. There is a limit to what sucking up can get people to achieve in career advancement. I tell you for free. And the people who make the big decisions know it clearly. They can see through you if you are just playing to the gallery. They will see through you. Because when push comes to shove, what they're going to ask is who is bringing value to the table. There are people in organizations that they are unsackable. Even when the organization is struggling, their names will not be on the redundancy list because those people have become what I will call stakeholders. Now, the concept of stakeholding, just think of it like you have, many of us go to parties. So you have this canopy that you have in parties. And you have, many of those canopies have 4 corners. Some may have more. Now, think of the stake as those rods that are used to hold the canopy up. And then those people who are holding the rod, and I went to a party many years ago, and suddenly a wind came blowing, and the rods were going to go, and some of us rushed and held the rods. We decided to become stakeholders. Now, we could have run. At times, what people do, they run from, that canopy. And then people at times exit an organization. So there's a challenge in an organization. You say, it's not my father's business. Then you exit. Then the stake falls. And then, the organization runs aground. But do you ask yourself, is there something that can do for the future of this organization? To hold the stake and say, we are going to, quote and unquote, won't die there. But we are going to stay here until we find a solution to this challenge. We are going to stay here and find out this organization is going to experience a rebound. And that is what is going to create the impressions that will make you advance. Because if you do not create a mindset that enables you to stay when there are challenges, and I tell you for free, I've been in my job by the grace of God for almost 16 years. I've had major challenges. There were seasons where the financials were not looking good. There were seasons where people were checking out, even generally in the consulting space. There were seasons where the pressure was immense, where almost month to month you're having to explain why you're not meeting your budget numbers. But what did we do? We sat there and said, we have got to figure this out. Now, let me quickly introduce a concept that is very critical so that I won't forget. The concept of the God factor. I just use the word concept. God is very important in all that we do. But what the Bible says, and whatever it is that you believe, even if you don't believe in the Bible, there's a concept of the work of your hands. If you do not have anything you are putting effort into, then 0, then 1, 5 times 0 is 0. Even when there's a blessing that will come upon the work of your hands, if the work of your hand is 0, then you will nullify the effect of that thing that wants to come and help you. So if you have a wrong mindset, even if people are trying to help you into certain positions, in fact, you will become a problem for them because you will mess up their reputation, you will mess up their trust in you, and they will never refer you again. How many of you have people that do stuff for you? Tailors. Sorry, that just came to mind. Or people that do carpentry for you. And they have done it to an extent that you will never refer them to anybody. You may even give them work because, he has to feed a family or she has to feed her family. But you will never put your reputation on the line for them. Let me pause and just ask. I hope you can still hear me as I move forward. I hope you can still hear me.
Yes,
sir. Great. I talked about the glass ceiling, so I hope I've debunked that. You do not need to break any ceiling. You need people to notice you. What you should be concerned with is, what do I need to do so that people do not see me launch? And people are watching. Don't think that people are not watching. People know the people that are bringing value. They know the people that are doing the work. The decision makers know. And they know the people that every time there's an opportunity to do any work, they will run away, they will hide. They know them. And when there's a point where the big decision is being made, if you are the one that has been lounging, your name will not be on that list. It's not. Let me move quickly because of time. I hope you're getting value. I talked about people that pass by. Somebody's mic is on. Please help us.
Okay, you're not done yet.
Let me please help us.
Mama said you were going out.
Okay,
I've muted
I'm
him.
back now. Okay, great. Now I would say some other things as I move quickly. Career growth is not individualistic. Career advancement, it is not about me alone. No. If you only think about yourself, you can't go very far. Collaboration is the name of the game. It is not just about you. No, let me go there, but because even coach works there. But it is not about you. Let me just leave it there. So you win as a team. My pastor said something some time ago. He said you win as a team or you lose as default. If you cannot bring yourself to work with people, you cannot go far. So contributors do not build corporations. They can only go as far as, okay, it's adding value. Let's keep him here. And, they will keep paying you. They might even increase your money, but they will not put you in decision-making capacity where you control the future of others, where you have the potential to control the future of the organization. I say it again. Sole contributors do not build corporations. The people that build corporations are the people that are able to harness the potentials of an organization and get people to see the vision. And I tell you, it does not have to be your father's business for you to be able to put on, a part of what we're talking about today is how do you think like a business owner? For you to think like it is your business. Many people go, they go to work, they even use the resources of the organization, they use the printing machine. I had to print something recently. And it was just a one-page document. And it was urgent, but I said, no, I'm not going to use resources of the firm to print this document. I'm going to go outside to print it somewhere else. Now, I could have gone, nobody may have known, but it was a commitment that I made in my heart. That it is wrong for me. It is against the value of integrity. And I will go quickly to talk about values. For you to advance in the course of your career, you must have values. Your values determine how you act. Your values determine how you act. In KPMG, I've been in KPMG for 16 years. So if I don't talk about KPMG, then what should I be talking about, really? I am so passionate about the values that the firm enshrines. Integrity. We do what is right. Will you do what is right even when there is pressure? And I tell you, what will test whether you really have integrity is when the pressure hits the road, when the rubber hits the road. Excellence. He talked about never stopping to learn and improve. Do you push yourself to continue to evolve over and over again? Or do you just settle for the comfort zone? The comfort zone is a dangerous zone because you can be hit by anything. And the truth is that the law in life is that it's either you go up or you go down. There's no midpoint. So if you are not appreciating, then you are depreciating. If you stay at the same level because other people are moving, so even if it appears that you are at the same level, what is happening is that you are losing value. You're losing value. So if you do not keep evolving yourself, and I have stories. There was a time in my career that I had to make a major pivot in my career, where there's an opportunity to take on a new role. And it was in a different area. I had no experience in it. And my boss called me, my partner, she's in this room, and I'm very excited about that. And she called me and said, okay, this opportunity, for you. And I said, okay, great. And I embraced it. And I went to invest. I paid to be trained in that area. I will be in technical sessions and in discussions. I'll be asking questions as if I'm a first-year person. I will not sit and keep quiet and say, I think I was already even a senior manager at that time. And say, no, let them just do the work. I was interested in understanding what was going on because I knew that it was important for me to understand it so that I could have conversations with clients. I remember one day I went for a client meeting. We were going to sell a service. That service that I took onto a client, and my manager that was supposed to be there with me had a delay. There was traffic. He couldn't come on time. And the MD was ready to meet with me. And I went in for that meeting and had that conversation. We sold that job. And he came in later and then he just added a few things. We sold the job. I was already talking about the various aspects of the engagement. And I do not take this for granted. I give God all the glory for that. But I'm just challenging you. You must keep pushing yourself. Don't wait until the external pressures push you to change. You must keep asking yourself, what else do I need to do? See, when there seems to be that sense of coasting, everything seems to be going too well. I'm not saying you should be afraid that things will go wrong, but those are the moments that you need to be extremely careful because you can become complacent. So you need to keep pushing yourself. And then he talks about courage. I don't have time to run through all the value of keeping engine, and then we have together working with people and then for better, doing what matters. Let me just run. I have a lot of points to share, but let me just run through my notes and try to pick out the critical points. Now, some of the things I want to tell you today, that the next thing I want to say today is that you are a brand. You are a brand. On my slide, I had a slide that had popular brands and all of that. And I was going to ask you, say, what do you think about this? What comes to mind when you see this and all that? But I don't have time to do that. So I'll just move on from there. Your brand reflects the value that you had and distinguishes you from others. Growing up, every toothpaste was called Close Up. Every toothpaste. It wasn't that there were no other toothpaste brands, but Close Up had developed a niche, had developed a reputation that everything, people just call Close Up, and all of that. And even Gala had that same thing. So the question I ask you is, when people mention your name, when people think about you, what comes to their mind? Think about it. What comes to their mind? Is it that lazy guy that doesn't like to work? Or that brilliant guy? That guy will go resourceful. Or that lady that will do anything to get problem solved. And when I talk about problem solving does not necessarily mean that you are the one solving the problem. Your ability to be able to find a solution, it could be even leveraging a relationship. It could be knowing, say, okay, hold on a minute. So someone says, who can help us with this? And then you say, I don't know. I don't have anybody. I can't solve the problem. Or do you sit back and say, hold on a minute. I think I know somebody that might be able to help us do this. Let me call this person. That is the extra. Or you just say, everybody say, we don't know, and we leave the meeting. So what then happens next? So the boss is frustrated, and then everybody is wondering. And I talk about the boss now. Now, to me said that I said many years ago in one of the webinars that she attended, that you should pray for your boss. Pray for your boss. It is, and I say this with all sense of responsibility. Many a times people look at the people in senior leadership, and that time I wasn't even at this level. I think I was a manager when I made that statement, or me a senior manager. And then look at them and say, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? You do not understand the pressures that they have to go through. In my role right now, the pressures I have to endure every single day. And people come and say, oh, there's an issue. I say, okay, how do we resolve it? So you need to understand that there are things that these people have to go through that could influence, and they are looking for people that will take the pressure off them. I remember many years ago, I used to have a performance manager. And after a performance evaluation cycle, I did very well. And I then asked him, okay, what more can I do? He said, Bukunmi, your role is to take pressure off me. I tell you, if you are aspiring for a higher position, go and ask yourself, how can I take, if I go and ask that person in that position that you want to get to, not that you want to sack them, but I'm saying that they are looking for people that will take pressure off them so that they can also aspire for greater things. Everybody is looking to grow. So your role in your relationship with your boss, who is your critical stakeholder, or your, people may not like to use the word boss, your supervisor, or whoever it is to take the pressure off them. If you are always the one that is a problem child, creating issues and giving them sleepless nights, they cannot recommend you for promotion. It is not a cause. It is not a cause. And so what does excellence mean to you? Your brand, the values, the impressions you make every day. And I say clearly, results is the name of the game. But how you get the results done is also important. And that takes me to managing people. Yesterday we had to churn out a very urgent publication. And the person who was interacting with the guy who was going to do an upload that was necessary for the publication to be put out, Rich came back to me and said, the guy said he can't upload until later in the night. I said, later in the night, okay. I said, give me, what's his name? So I sent him a message. I reached out to him. Now, this is something that we must understand in leadership. The fact that you humble yourself to talk to somebody with respect doesn't diminish who you are. What did I do? I had a chat with the guy. I can't disclose because of time, all the things, the way I went about it. But I chatted with the guy so respectfully that the guy said, hey, boss, this is difficult. I have a lot on my hands, but I'm going to find a way to get this thing done. In an hour and a half, the result, the guy did that work. The guy said he was going to do it. He told the other person, I will do it in the night. The guy did it in an hour and a half. Just told me. In fact, he told me by 3:30. He told the other person late in the night. By 3:30, before 3:30, he had done it. We published that thing. So if you are just going, you are very brash, you think that the way to grow your career is by bringing people down, you are missing out on opportunities. You are missing out. The question I will ask you if you are a leader here is, can your team members go to war for you? Can they tell you, like they told David in the Bible, said, sit down, don't worry, we will go, even though, that thing got David into trouble, but that's another story. But can your team members catch a grenade for you? Can they say, okay, don't worry? Because do you have their back? Do they know that when the chips are down, when they're going through their challenges, yes, you may give them strong feedback, but are you going to work with them to say, guys, we can do better. We can do better than this. We can do better than this. Let's improve our processes to deliver value to these clients. And then you have their back. Not that you endure shoddy work or you just, everybody just, no. They know that you are principled. They know what they need to do, and they stick with it. Can they catch a grenade for you? Wow, there's a lot still to go through, but I will keep going. You must be committed to building a reputation for excellent service. Relationships are critical. I talked about relationships, and I'll say this. You need people to succeed. And I will also say you need people to succeed. Now, if you are looking at my slides, you will have understood what I said. But there are two dimensions to that statement. There are two different statements. You need people to help you to succeed because there are some doors that can only be opened from inside. It's like that glass ceiling. You don't need to break it. All you need to do is position yourself, demonstrate a significant sense of value that they do not have a choice than to open that ceiling for you. Even when other people are saying, are protesting, and they can't do anything to you. That's the truth. They put you up and everybody sees. In fact, the protest will stop. They will say, it's true. Because even in your relationship with other people, they know that you are the one doing the work. You are the one carrying their burden. You are the one helping them grow. Not that you will put them down and because you want to please the boss, you will go and say, I don't mind them, all of them. They are not doing anything. The second part of that statement is you need people to succeed for you to succeed, because it is not a one-man show. If you are the only one excelling in your team, then there's a problem. My boss used to say this. He says, if you are as a performance manager or a manager, you are the only one getting the high ratings, and your team members are rated poorly, then we need to look at your rating again, because there's something wrong somewhere. So your people need to succeed for you to succeed. And it takes me to the point around appropriating praise to team members. I remember many weeks ago, we had to do something for a very senior person in our firm. But I was a face of that particular matter. And by the time he got the deliverable or the result, he was very excited. He said, thank you so much, Bukunmi. And then I said, oh, yes, there's a member of my team too, that was very involved. And because I then shared the feedback with her, she was so excited. But if you are just saying, yes, we are the ones doing it, Awani, sorry, for those who may not understand Yoruba, Awani means we are the ones doing it. See, if you develop a reputation for always appropriating praise only to yourself, after a while, people will notice it and they will sell you out. Your egungun will enter the express. And that takes me to the next point around listening to people. If the only person you listen to is yourself, you will soon grow deaf. Now, it's proven scientific. If you put someone in a room where there's no external sound, the person will go deaf. You can check it out. I believe it's true. The person might go mad, deaf. The person will become disoriented and will start losing their mind. You need to hear other people. If everything, the people come to you, they want to share some ideas with you, you shut them down. You shut them down today. They are looking at you. They do. In fact, when there's a problem, the one that will help you, they're not sure which side of the bed you woke up from. And so they're saying, let's check. Is he in the right mood that we can go and meet him? Or will he just flip when we come over to talk, to have a conversation with him? Even about something that is important to you. So they will leave you. And when you get into the express and you're alone and the trailer jam you, then your brain, hopefully you will still be alive and well in that career. Then the only challenge is that it may be too late. But the point is, you need to listen to other voices. You need to live, but not the negative voices, not the voices of those who will bring down the boss, not the voices of those who will be complaining about the system and not doing anything to improve it. It is the people that determine how a system is. The system is not run by robots. A system is run by people. True excellence is not achieved by putting others under and putting others down. Lifting others up leads to collective success. Be willing to spend time to help others become better. And if you do not invest in people, you will keep doing their job. I keep talking about my boss, and maybe because she's here also, but even if she wasn't here, I would have said it. If you do not invest in people and train them to actually do some of the things you are doing, you will not be able to move to the next level because you will still keep doing their work. You will keep doing their work. When I became a manager, I had to go and read books on management. I carried John Maxwell, 360-degree leader, carried all sorts. And my team members saw it. They said, Bukunmi, you have changed. I said, I won't change. I won't change. Because if you keep doing the same things that you were doing at a lower level, there are expectations of you at another level. Those are no longer your KPIs. But the only way that other people can take up those roles is if you invest in them. There's a critical part of my work in KPMG. I can't really share in detail because of confidentiality. But there's a critical part of the work that I had to train some of my team members to take the pressures off me. In fact, some of them that are not even managers, because they have access to that too, they are already doing it. And what does that do? It frees up my time to chase business development. It frees up my time to engage with my partner and say, okay, what else can we do to grow this business? To go for meetings. If you are holed up in the office, you are doing a lot of admin stuff, you can grow. You might pray about it, but your prayer will be in vain. The expectations of your client. Don't just settle for the bare minimum. And I say this again, when your boss or supervisor shines, then you are shining. That person becomes your advocate. The way it is not to say, this person, the stress is too much. No, find out what's causing the stress. Make them smile, not stocking up. See, the leaders know those who stock up, and after they see through them. It is the value you bring to the table. Take the pressure off them. Go and engage with them. You think you have a difficult boss at work. Today, I'm charging you from tomorrow or today. Reach out to them. Find out what is their pain point. But what exactly is the issue? If you can help to remove some of the issues that they have to deal with, they will become the advocate. They even say more than you think you did. I remember many years ago, there was an evaluation meeting and I was giving my feedback. I wasn't quite sure of how I performed. It was many years ago. And then I was told I did well. Even though I was going through a process that time. I needed something new to challenge me. But then they said, oh, you did this. I was like, yeah, really? And then I sat back and then remembered that during that period, if a client called my boss that time, the person would look at me and say, Bukunmi, is there an issue? Because for them to go beyond me and call them on the regular, a client request, not something strategic that I had not been handling at that time, it means that it has to be something that I couldn't handle. And in most cases, I would have briefed the supervisor to say, this is an issue. This person may call you. Does your boss trust you to handle things? People entrust only those that they trust. I say it again. People entrust those they trust. Do not speak ill of your boss. I said it. If you speak ill of your boss, your place of work, you are sowing seeds, wrong seeds into the place where you are getting, your income. You can't confuse. You'll be confusing God, and you are praying that God will bless the work of your hands, and you are sowing the wrong seeds. You can't sow wrong seeds and get positive fruits. Build your capacity. Invest in yourself. I talked about reading books when I became a manager at different levels. How many people are willing to go and pay money to be trained? Or you're waiting until my organization sends me on training. Oh, and you're saying, they have not sent me on training. I'm not going on training. Or you sat down and say, what are the gaps that I think I have? How do I bridge it? I paid. In fact, it was one day training. By the time the guy was there, he said, my money is finished. I thought it's like a week. I paid good money to be trained. My CV showed that I do payroll stuff. Payroll wasn't my experience. I got one guy that was experienced. I said, well, come and train me. I won't say the amount, but it was good money. I tell you. So invest in yourself, read books, subscribe to apps. Don't just go on social media, Instagram. You are reading, you are going Instagram wars, you are disagree with everybody, you are fighting, you are wasting time, or you are watching football, like Arsenal lost today, and the title race is probably over, right now. But I decided some months ago I'm not going to be watching the matches again. So what do? I just check the scores and I laugh. I use the time 2 hours. Can you spend 2 hours just watching football? And then some people will now make you feel bad. I'm not saying don't watch football, though. I'm a football fan, but you have to prioritize what is important to you. If you do it very well, maybe an hour or two a week, you watch football, it's okay, no problem. Or you watch TV. But I'm just saying that you must know what is important to you. Recently, I subscribed. Many years ago, I found out that I was weak because I'd become a manager, but I was weak in terms of things around economic indices, inflation, and all that. So what did I do? I went to subscribe to Business Day magazine, Business Day newspaper. So I get Business Day news reports every day. I get Business Day news reports. So I said developing my understanding of the economy. I said understanding the macros, things like MPI, all those other things, because I needed to use it to engage with clients. Their business. I subscribe to an app called Blinkist. Paid app, but it's not free. So all these things I'm telling you, and they're not a lot of money, but it all adds up. But at times, some people, to spend one dime of their money is wala. They cannot bring out money to invest in themselves. I need to close very soon, but I hope you're getting value. You develop capacity by practice. Now, to advance in your career, if you know that you have presentation skills gap, the way to solve that problem is not to run away when there's an opportunity to present. No, you run towards it. Yes. And people will help you. They will gather. They will do dry runs. I remember many years ago, I had some challenges with presenting. I had some gaps. And they would do dry runs. Say, I don't say this. You don't talk too much. Okay, focus on the issues. And some I will do it. And my boss will call me and say, this part, you didn't do it too well. And that was where I honed my skills. And, by the grace of God, I've had opportunities to speak on very bigger platforms since that time. And this is also one of the platforms. And you're listening to me today. So you develop capacity by doing that thing that you think you're not good at. So you become a better presenter by presenting. You develop relationship building skills by talking to people, not by watching YouTube videos alone. So you go for a networking event and you stay on your own. What are you doing at that networking event? You could as well have stayed at home. You just stay. I don't like talking. No. What are you doing? Just stay at home. So you go for a network event, go move around. So you're not very comfortable with the crowd. Move around. Challenge yourself. I went for one recently. In fact, I wasn't feeling too good that morning because we're in a fast in church and I was hungry. But I got to that place. I started interacting with people. I got some cards and then, potential business opportunities are coming out of it. I followed up on some of them. Some of them are setting up meetings and all that. But if you do not reach out to people, you will not know how much you are missing out on. Position yourself for that big break. It's not about being positioned. Even if there's an opportunity they want to force on your head, if you are not able to carry it, it will weigh you down. It will kill you. They won't give it to you. There's still a lot to say, but I think I need to close. I think I'm almost out of time. If I'm not already out of time, I'll just run through the remaining points. Consistently seek to increase your accountability quotient. Reach for more. Volunteer. They say they want to organize an event and they're looking for people to volunteer. Except you believe and you know really that your table is full and you're doing other things to create impression. Reach out for it. It's not an area you're comfortable with. I developed event management skills by in fact, there was one I didn't even volunteer. The head of the division sent me a mail and said, I want you to organize a send forth program for a retiring former head of that division. It was only me and told me, set up your team, put people together. And that was the only thing he told me, and I had to get people, events management. I don't have a degree in events management. I am not an events planner. I could have said, my investment, I should be consulting. They said we should come and do what's all this? And then even go to them and be complaining. Why are they even stressing us? They're just stressing us in this place. So we don't even know what's going on. What's all this stress? I just disturb you. I've been saying all of that. But I embraced it. And I developed skills. We had challenges. But after that event, there was an impression that was created. The feedback was massive. And do you know what that does? You will not have an issue where they say visibility. Because when it comes to a particular point, when decisions are made on promotion, it is beyond just the work you are doing on a day-to-day basis, the technical work. The question is, who knows you? People who do not work with you directly, we need to say something. We need to say something, make a comment about what they think about you. And if what they say is, I really don't know the guy, it's not so visible, there will be a comma against you. They say, let's give him 1 more year. And then you will sit down, you'll be complaining, not knowing that you are the one that is using your own hand to do yourself. Let's close on these notes. Embrace adversity, learn from failure. Now, the truth is, in the journey of career advancement, there will be challenges. Things, curveballs will come. Things will not or may not always work out. But failure is the evidence that you are doing something and learning. It means that there are areas that you need to continue to improve on. Do not let the crisis go to waste. There are opportunities for learning, and they will keep you grounded. It also shows you that you're a human being. You are not God. It keeps you humble. And then when necessary, be willing to pivot. When it looks like this area is not working. Not that you are jumping from one thing to another. No. But it's clear to you, and people have even commented on it. I say, why don't you try something else? And you check. Don't just keep going and say, we died there. No. Don't die in something that is not working. Don't flog a dead horse. The flogging a dead horse forever will not wake the dead horse. The horse is dead. And finally, I'll talk about the pitfalls you should beware. The comfort zone. Beware of the comfort zone. To excel, you must be willing to go into uncharted territories. Embrace new opportunities. And then don't be obsessed with perfection. You are fallible. You can make mistakes. Don't be too hard on yourself when you make mistakes. Learn from it and then move on. Not that everybody in the room knows that while has happened. You are frowning, you are doubting on everybody, and you have become the lion in the tribe of your office. And then you are not a one-man army. You are not the indispensable. Don't beware of that pitfall. See, if you live today, if you fall down and die today, the most they will do is 1 minute silence. It is your immediate family that will feel the pain. So take care of your health. Get a support system. Some of you maybe to get a house help. Don't do career woman and then you're taking on so much pressure. Use the money that you are making to buy convenience. Don't say you don't trust anybody in this world. Pray about it, Christian, and then seek counsel. You will get someone. In my family, when we had a daughter, it was a lot challenging our son, from when we had our son. My wife had to resume work, was during COVID, and it was clear to us that we needed the help. And then we prayed about it, and God used people, and then we were able to find someone to help us. Don't say you will be the one that you do everything. You don't trust housemates. They are bad. Oh, God, calm down. Use money. You can even use the money. Get people to stock your kitchen, buy stuff for you. Don't be too miserly on yourself. Conclusion. Reflect. What are you going to do differently from today? Excellence in career is a continuous process. It is a journey. So, be resilient, persevere. Even when it looks like the results are not showing, don't give up. And then stay grounded, be humble, but do not settle. So there's a balance to it. Be humble, but do not settle. Settling means, I cannot keep myself. But humility means acknowledging that you are not all sufficient. But then not settling means you keep pushing for more. And finally, do not take for granted the God factor. I've talked about it, I'll say it again. In the end, at the end of the day, we need the supernatural to bless the natural for us to actually achieve greatness. I hope you have found value in this, and I hope I made sense, and I hope the network held through. Thank you so much, and I'll be happy to take a question.
Wow! Woo! Hey, hey! I told you guys that it is going to be great today. I don't even know where to start from. So many things said. And you know, while he was talking, one of the things that was jumping up at me, I'll go back to how we started this. Some of us joined late. And we were saying, our local, like it is our turn. Because the soundtrack we use today is, for me, an evergreen soundtrack. We are the world. We are the ones that will make this world a better place. If this world is going to be a better place, not just for this generation, but the generation that is coming behind, it is in you and I's hand. We have like over 40 people on this call, more people streaming, more people that is listening to us. And it's like, and that is what he has been saying. That's what I was just hearing. That now that the baton is in our hands, what are we going to do with it? I'm about to leave the floor open to practical questions. But for me, this is lots of rumination. Lots of rumination. Imagine if our civil service is being run with the gems we put today, we've heard today. Nigeria cannot be here. And I put it to you, it's something that is like a personal crusade for me. And that is why you can never hear me, Oluwatumininu, open my mouth and say that Nigeria cannot be better. Because once I open my mouth and I say that nonsense, that means I've written off myself. So please, that's going to be one of the take-homes for you. Because in your corner, you are going to make it better. I will not be putting people on the spot, but be doing those checklists. How many people pray? Yeah, somebody is saying the public sector needs to hear a lot. Honestly, that was what was just resonating in me. There was one time I had this passion that I would be going to be preaching work ethics in public sector. Honestly. Because you hear things like, this one, a government work, or they know they die there. Like, seriously, this is the generation that should change that narrative to this na government work. We will do everything it takes to make it work because this is the only way it can get better. And I had to sit down to start looking at these narratives. And we need to take these challenges very personal. I know a number of things I say is going to be hitting home. But honestly, we have to tell ourselves the truth. We just have to. Who killed Nigerian Airways? Who killed Nigerian Railway? Who killed Ajaokuta Steel? Who were the undertakers of the previous generation? It wasn't angels, it wasn't demons. It was our fathers, our mothers, our uncles, our aunties. So the question is, will we be the next set of undertakers? What are we going to give to the next generation? And what killed these things, or what killed these parastatals, are just these things that we are hearing today. I watched a movie a while back that it's just been in my head. Please go to YouTube and watch the movie. It's like a series, and the title is Men That Built America. That title has not left me. I've been sharing it up and down. Men built America, men will build Nigeria. I was seeing a statistics, the most prayerful country in Africa, Nigeria. I was speaking with an old uncle the other day. I said, see, when God hit me with this revelation, my mind changed. God is not going to change Nigeria. Men will change Nigeria. And that is why I said, our local. We are the ones that would have this kind of work culture and work ethics that we are talking about. Angels will not do it for us. You cannot be going late to your office and you say, God will fix it. God will fix what? You cannot be dodging work and you say, God will fix it. God will fix what? He's not about to do it. You will do it. You are the one that will go for the training. You are the one that will learn how to do it. You are the one that will make up your mind. The way Bukunmi did that, see, I will not use the company's resources for other things. I will not be a thief. I see a lot of, and I don't even want to go into it because I'm already getting all emotional again. Because I look at some people, I say, but that you're a thief, oh. May they don't carry you go kiri. It is your working hours, working time that you are using for side hustle, and it's okay by you, and it's normal. You are behind the computer. You are physically available, but you know you are not present. You are searching for courses in Canada, in America, in this, and your timelines are wasting. And you are telling me Nigeria is not working. The question is, are you working? The day we start working this country, we work. So please, these are very, very, very important issues, and it starts with us. But the sweet thing there is, as these gentlemen have said, you cannot work like this and not grow. The reason why people are not growing and people are saying it's not working is just the way it is being done. Permit me to speak this Yoruba. There's an adage in Yoruba, and I'll translate for my non-Yoruba audience since I speak to a global audience, but I like to speak in my native language first when I'm translating some things. It says, that means let's do it the way it ought to be done so that we can get the right results. I'm looking forward to a Monday when men will be stepping up to their managers and saying, Oga, please, how can I take the pressure off you? And I've heard men do these things and they say, I thought my boss was difficult. I realized my boss is not difficult, though. It was just my manner of approach. I didn't understand this person. I didn't understand the pressure. I didn't understand the goals. I didn't understand the focus. So it was more about me. Are there difficult people? Because we are different, I'll say yes. And when Dr. Odabor was speaking, he said, I've worked with bad bosses, I've worked with good bosses. Everything is an experience. You, what will you be in your own turn? And as Pastor Bukunmi said, what is actually your definition of good? Is it looking away when rules are being broken? Because we've given good and nice a different definition. Men would break contracts. Men will not work according to SLAs. I say, I know that one is a very nice person. No, don't worry, we signed the paper for you. Is that your brand? That you are disloyal to your organization? Men can count on you to break rules for your organization and they call it nice. Is that actually nice? Thank you so much. Please, can we have questions? I'm not supposed to be talking. I was just trying to do some recaps. These are mind-blowing gems. This is not something you listen to once. I can see some of our former speakers in the house. Aishat Dahoud from AFEC. She was with us sometime last year, teaching us on investment. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. Please raise your hand. Everybody quiet now. Did they carry cane to flog you? I know that this had been very, very mind shifting. Okay, so I think somebody's hand is up. Let me see who that is. I'm trying to find the person. Can't I see? Okay, please, if your hand is up, since I can't find the person, just unmute and ask your question. We have about 5-10 minutes for questions and answers.
Good evening.
Good evening,
everyone. I'm Osarime. I'm a first timer here, and after this whole show, I'm just like, wow. So my question is, to Pastor Bukunmi. So currently, sorry, I'll be very brief. Currently, I have a team that I'm working with, so I'm more like their leader, just a small team. And he mentioned some books. I actually want to be able to do well. And you've also spoken that what type of leader are you going to be? Are you going to be a good leader? Are you going to be a leader that, oh, this one, just go and meet her, she will sign it? I don't want that. I want to be able to impact not just me knowing, but also my team members. We should all be able to grow. And I think that's just one particular thing that I learned, that only me knowing this will not help my team. It will even relieve me of a lot of stress. I should be able to share all of that. So I don't know if Mr. Bukunmi can also maybe give me one book to hold on to read and still grow. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So at the end of the day, you will find what works for you, right? There's no silver bullet. And at times, some of the things you will learn may not be from books, it may be from general interactions you have with people. But John Maxwell's books have helped me greatly. And I read books based on what I think I'm trying to improve on. So I could pick a book. Maybe there's an area I think at the time I knew I needed to improve my listening. So I started looking for books on listening. But if you're trying to build your leadership skills, managing people, get John Maxwell books. There's one 360-degree leader. You can start with that, and then you can then keep checking. You can reach out to me after. I'll check my library for the other titles that I have. But John Maxwell is one I recommend highly. It has helped me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Dad, your hand is up. Can we have your question?
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here. I really learned a lot. And thanks once again to Pastor Bukunmi. This was an amazing session. So for me, in my own case, I'm new in the career space. And before I started my job, I tried to prepare for the work aspect, but I didn't anticipate that there would be an emotional aspect to work. And what I mean by that is, where I work, it's a fast-paced environment. And what I found is sometimes having to combine work with the emotional aspect of knowing when to go and meet a senior to ask for help, knowing how to deal with people, sometimes it becomes overwhelming. So as someone who is up there, what advice can you give on approaching seniors at the right time to say, how can I help? Knowing the right time to say, how can you also help me? And just balancing it in a way that, you don't now seem like you're bothering the person or anything like that.
Okay. I hope you can hear me. Okay, so the thing is, the people are different. So you will learn on the job with time, because you may make mistakes, but you will learn. And the culture of the organization may also influence how you approach this. But I think the most important thing is to approach those conversations with an open mind. Don't be afraid to go and engage. Even if someone says, I'm busy at the moment, it may also be the pressure of the work. For example, I had a major deliverable that my boss had asked me to work on very recently, and people are coming to meet me. I said, please, just let me finish this before I deal with you, because it was time sensitive. So reach out to them. Also, wear a smile on your face. I believe a smile helps a great deal. Have a positive men around you as you go to engage. And even if they say, wait, don't take rejection or answer, meaning that's the end of the world. You will never ever go to them. Take it as a challenge to keep refining your approach to having those engagements. And as you continue to add value, you will become somebody that they will want to listen to. So as you add value, your value are adding. They believe you at the moment, but be committed to it. They will say, oh, okay, you're here. Okay, let's have a conversation. Do you understand? I hope that helps you. There's a journey that you have started, and you won't figure it out in one day. It will be with time. We have also not figured it out. I've not figured it out completely. That's the truth. We keep learning, so the learning doesn't end. I hope that helps you, Dad. Or any other person.
Okay. Yeah, Dad is saying thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Please, I hope that is resonating. One key take home for me is always understand that there is no silver bullet. There is no master key. Success is often a combination of keys. But the main thing is the consistency. You are constantly looking out for it, coming out for the webinar, reading the books. Okay, so for the person that asked about books, Dami has dropped in the book, in the link. I know Pastor Bukunmi mentioned that while he was speaking. 360-degree leaders, John Maxwell. So just look out for John Maxwell book. Excellent leadership training. Okay, after your hand is up.
Don't go and download e-copy or pirated copy online. Don't go and be. By the way, I need to say this because many people like to be doing free things. If you love by downloading copyrighted materials, and that's what you're reading, you are actually not helping yourself, and it's actually a crime. So actually, go and buy. Go to Latana or Roving Nights, whichever. Use money to improve yourself. Don't go and be saying, please, who has a free copy of of this, because I see that in some groups. And now I think people should ask. I know I spoke after him, but I think Odabor can share a bit more. And maybe I was just asking Odabor, the pivot from various things that you've had to do. What are some of the critical lessons that you had to learn, in navigating the challenges that I believe happened? I know you didn't really touch about that, but I think it will help a great deal if people hear that experience, especially as some people may have to pivot in the course of their life and career. I hope he's still around. Doctor. Dr. Odabor.
I think it's okay, he's still on the call, but while we are waiting for him to...
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, it was a glitch. Okay, Pastor Bukunmi mentioned two things. One about excellence, being committed to excellence at work, and also not being obsessed with perfection. So I don't know whether it's my own understanding, but it seemed quite contradictory to me. Perfection, not being obsessed with perfection and being committed to excellence. That's one, if you could clarify. Then secondly, when one is trying to develop leadership skills by reading books, and at the same time, you are trying to build or improve on your technical competence, how does one manage that process, that balance? Is there one that is more important than the other? Because there are two important factors that are that contend for one's time and attention. So which do you recommend one should focus more on? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will start with the second question. So oftentimes what the books will give you are theoretical examples. Some books are more practical than others, as will give you illustrations, images that you can recreate in your minds, and then you can go and apply. There was a time I read a book on how to win clients and keep them for life. I've read all sorts of books. So because I was trying to improve, how do I sell? I was trying to develop my ability to win new clients. So I went to read that book. I've forgotten the person that wrote it, but if someone can Google it, it's also a very good book. I'll recommend to everyone to get. And so it's about getting that balance. So you read the books and then you find the opportunity to practicalize it. It's like even when you go for a training program. So you sit in a classroom training program. So the question is, what do you do after? And my boss used to say something. And whenever people go for training program, I say, we want to see the difference in you when you come back. So please concentrate. Don't do work. Let your mind be there. So they are complementary. They are not mutually exclusive, sir. So it's about being able to make out time, allocate time to improve the knowledge. Because what you are doing when you are reading books is you are getting a knowledge base. You're adding to your knowledge base so that you can then apply when there's a demand on that knowledge. If somebody says, for example, 2 + 2 is 4, but you are not going on the street saying 2 + 2 is 4, 2 + 2 is 4, 2 + 2 is 4. But 2 + 2 is 4. So if I ask you today, sir, please, what's 2 + 2? What will you say, sir? You will say 4, because it is in your knowledge base. So you're able to apply the knowledge that you already know. And before you remember that also, you have to say it many times when you were small. 2 + 2, 4. At times you will turn it to a rhyme, and then so that it becomes embedded in your brain. I hope that helps for the first question. For the second question, let me just answer the second question. I think the second question was around, yes, perfection, not being obsessed with perfection, and then seek excellence. Now, the truth is, no matter how hard you try to seek excellence, which is a mindset in terms of how you view things, you want everything to be at the highest level, top quality. There would be instances. I believe that it is something. It is just a law of nature to humble us and keep you grounded. Because if you are somebody that you never make mistakes, you will think you are God, and you start playing God in the minds of people, and you would think you are indispensable. So now, seek excellence, develop a trend. So when I say don't be obsessed with perfection, develop a trend There are times, for example, it still happened recently. I sent something to my boss, and I'd read that document. I read it like 3 times, I tell you. And she opened the document and she saw a typo. But when she saw the typo, we laughed over it. And why we could laugh over it is because it is not a trend. It is not, she can trust me to do certain things. And that's what I'm saying. It is not a trend. So when those one-off things happen, if I was saying, oh, wow, and we're joking about somebody else was there, the person said, it's because your mind was seeing something else, which is where collaboration comes from. Let me just chip this in, if you don't mind, which is why you need to work with other people. So at times you've done something you think is perfect. You need to ask someone, please, can you help me look at this with fresh eyes? Because your mind may be seeing you, but your mind may be seeing you, but it may be you wrote. That's usually a common error we make in writing. So you call somebody else, guy, please help me read this thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you think you are perfect, quote and unquote, obsession with perfection with you alone, you will not even be humble to call somebody else into the room and say, please take a look at this write-up. Just read it with fresh eyes. What do you think about it? And you won't collaborate. But I hope I address that perceived contradiction, sir. I would love to hear the feedback.
Yes, sir, you did. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I saw Dr. Odabor log out and log back in. I guess please, can you unmute your mic now? Let's have last word from you as we round up this Saturday evening. Can you unmute? I think he's having network challenges. I actually saw him log out, log back in. So it's been a very, very amazing session today. We've spoken a lot on a lot of things. This video is going to be up on all our social media channels. So please follow us. Kike, please, can we have all our social media channels, our YouTube, Instagram, our LinkedIn up in the chat room so that people can follow us. We equally have past videos up on our YouTube channel. Please do well to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Now, Pastor Bukunmi said lots and lots of things. I'll just reiterate on one or two. And I've said that before. Invest in yourself. We can't say it hard enough. I appreciate that we are all in different stages in our lives, and I'm so strong on YouTube. So one of the things I do, and the YouTube has lots of free resources, and we do that a lot on Read. There are some of those books that are free on YouTube. So like 360-degree leaders now, you will not get it on YouTube. So that means it's not a free. That means it's not a free resource. But Failing Forward by the same John Maxwell, you will see it on YouTube. You see it there. Complete audiobook. So you can sit down and listen to that and start practicing while you are saving up for the ones that are not free. So there's a balance. I'm putting in the balance because I know there are people that are like, why are you not reading? Because I am saving to buy a book. So while you are saving, you can still check for resources that you can leverage upon. But the no there is copyright rules. Don't go behind back doors and be looking for ways of pirating things that are patent and you can't get them for free. That becomes very illegal. I don't know if the doctor is here to talk more on pivot scene, but if he is not, what can I say to these things? And yeah, Pastor Bukunmi is dropped.
I'm here.
Thor, we've been trying to reach you. Okay, so please, Pastor Bukunmi asked the question. I don't know if you got that question.
No, I didn't get the question, please.
Okay. Pastor Bukunmi, please, can you re-ask the question so that I can react now that we have him? Okay, let me ask the question on his behalf. Now that I'm not, he said you are someone that has done lots of pivots in your career, and pivoting is not easy. Can you just quickly help us in a minute or two on how to navigate life's changes with a bit more ease? Because this is something you've really done over and over again. You moved from being a medical doctor to a salesman, you moved into doing your own business, you moved back to working, then back into doing your own business. So you've done a lot of pivots. There are lots of people now that based on this conversation, there are lots of things they want to do differently. The question is, how can it be easier? Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Pastor Bukunmi, my brother from another mother. We've known each other for like 5 years. We met during COVID, during the peer mentoring groups, and it's been amazing. Like our lives are all intertwined. It's not if we can understand that we don't need to do life alone, right? And this event, this networking, this group we're in now, we learn from each other's story, right? So for me, what I would say is that the first thing is the mental warfare. I say warfare, I pick warfare for a reason because it's a war. We've been groomed from birth to grow, go to school, get a job. Anything outside that belief system, you fight it. So for me to move from first being a dentist into doing my own thing is a warfare. You doubt yourself. You constantly, am I doing the right thing? Should I just go back to my comfort zone? Every time I transitioned, I had that warfare. But what made it easier for me was a weird reason, my personal vision. It was just there. Just when I say it was a gift, it was just there. I knew that this is where I was going to. And secondly, books, autobiographies, people's stories helped me. So I was always moved by brands. I'm like, how G started. I used to read about G, how they had great leaders like Jack Welch. I'm like, I see people doing great things. So me, I'm here for a reason. I have to make my own impact, right? So that gave me that push to go the extra, go through the lonely roads, go through the other roads that people don't take, right? It gave me the assurance and belief in myself. That was one. Then also learning those skills. Right? I had this weird notion that if you drop me anywhere in the world, in US, in UK, Canada, you drop me anywhere, I should be able to make money for myself. I should be able to sustain myself. That's why I spoke about marketable skills. What skills do you have? Look at your hand. What are you good at? And funny enough, my name Odabor means my hands are good for business. So it's just like my grandfather gave me that name. So I've always known that name. I've always known that, okay, I'm good at something. I'm good at business. So I just believe that anywhere you drop me, I should be able to make a living, right? And when I left one of the jobs I had, it was a sweet, bitter experience because here I was, HR was telling me, they were going to put me on PIP. My manager at that time didn't like me, so we were just having friction. And me, I already knew I was going to leave the job. So, and I could vividly remember it was a story building. I was looking outside the skyline, and birds were flying. I'm like, if God can take care of these birds, like, then He will take care of me. And then HR was telling me that no, you've not met the target for this quarter. The manager is complaining. I'm going to give you a new target. You have to meet in the next 3 months. Otherwise, you lose your job. And it was very funny. I was literally almost busting out laughing because the HR person telling me this was even more scared than I was. And I just had the comfort looking outside, looking at birds flying. I said, this is not great. This is not my life. I'm done. I'm going to move on. And the next day, I just sent my resignation letter, like, thank you very much. But before I send that letter, let me put things in context. 6 months before then, I already planned my exit. I was already planning my exit. I knew that I reached the top. I reached the ceiling already. There was no growth. There was nothing more than just get your pay. So I made my plan, started my business, and then I just resigned and I moved into my business. Business was not smooth. Let me be clear. It was not smooth. For 6 months, it was a struggle, right? But also, I got another insight into my business, which I tweaked, and it worked. And I was good for another 1.5, 2 years before I moved to another job. So I'm just saying that this life is knowledge, personal vision, your conviction, learning, networking with other people, right? This life is so fluid that you can make money for anything. There are people on YouTube who just play with Fondo and they have 1 million views. Who are on YouTube who just share videos of cats and have 1 million views. And YouTube will pay them thousands of dollars. You get, life has changed. Like this new era is different. So whatever knowledge we have, you can make money with it. So that's actually shifted my mindset drastically. So I'm very open to making money effortlessly by sharing value, helping people become better. And it just works for me. So it's a mindset shift. But there are principles and books and things that I've read that I will gladly share with anybody who asks that will help you gradually shift your mindset and out of your comfort zone. But it takes a while. I do not advise anybody to just wake up tomorrow and resign because Dr. Odabor said, no, I did not say that. Everything is planned. And where you are, there's lesson to be learned. So learn, be the best. That's generally, now everybody can be the best at whatever field they are, but plan your exit. That planning can be 1 year plan. Plan your exit, let what you plan to do start making money for you. And like most people say, let that business start and let it match your income, your current salary, let it match your current salary. And then you are more reassured that, okay, fine, I have this income coming through. The business is working, right? So that would be my advice in a nutshell.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. While Dr. Odabor was speaking, I just remembered something I read from Rockefeller. Rockefeller is one of those outstanding people. When you're watching that TV movie series, Men That Built America, Rockefeller is one of the people that was attributed.
I love that movie, that series, by the way. I remember watching it. I was spellbound. I loved it. So what men are doing, men is man like me. What?
Okay, I thought you were still speaking. Honestly, as in, that's just it. Like, angels did not build America. Aliens did not build America. Ordinary men built America. And those men were first generation wealth. They were not born into rich homes. They were ordinary men. It's as he said, rich stories. Now, one of the things that Rockefeller said that really stood out for me was he's the first billionaire. For people that don't know, Rockefeller was the first billionaire that America produced. And Rockefeller attributed or tied his wealth, his structure, into the fact that he worked with a structured organization. That if he did not spend the 3 years with that organization, there is no way he would have been able to build that structure he built. Because he sat down, instead of fighting people, he was learning processes. He was understanding why they were doing things they were doing. And he put the advice in that book that I read that, see, before you want to launch out, because I see a lot of people that are not even ready to sit down and calm down and learn. Go and look for a big structured organization. Enter inside, learn. Learn well, be outstanding. We'll take one last question and we'll call it a night. Adetayo, your hand is up.
Yes, good evening, Ma. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity to learn. I've actually had this question in mind since the beginning of the session, and what Dr. Odabor said now actually pushed it out further in my mind. Yes, I think I have questions for both Dr. Odabor and Pastor Bukunmi. Yes, so at that point where I want to transition. I've worked with my organization for about 10 years now, and I really know that I can do more. It's like I'm not growing anymore. Like I've gotten to that point where I just do the same thing every day, and it looks like I'm going to have to repeat this for as long as I stay here. And I definitely know I'm not cut out for that. So I want to transition. I have a business that I've been running for a while now. Dr. Odabor said that before you move out of your job to your business, ensure that your business can give you equal like income. My business is not there yet, and I think the major reason is that I don't have time to push it the way I should. So I'm in such a dilemma. Do I need to spend more time before I resign to push my business to that point, or should I just take that leap of faith and just step out and hope that the more I push my business is going to be able to one day come to that point where I even have more than I have now. So that's for Dr. Odabor. For Pastor Bukunmi, you talked about leaving an organization at a time where it might likely cause a crisis, and how is not such a good idea. Now, my organization, if I leave, I'm sure that it might shake them a little because in the last 1 year, about 3 people have resigned, and I'm going to be the 4th person. And me leaving is going to actually propel somebody else to leave, and we are on the same line of duty. And it's like such a dilemma for me. I know it's not good for the organization, but I need to know this is my life at stake. It's not like I hate my organization. It's not like I don't like my job. I do, but I like my life more. And so I don't know. So that's the dilemma I am right now, and I just hope you can help me through it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tayo. That's 2 in 1 question. So, Dr. Odabor, can we have you speak into that question, give your last word, then Pastor Bukunmi, you answer and you give your last word. We'll call it a night.
Okay. Thank you for that question. A very clear question. I will say, do not resign from your job. Do not resign from your job. I had a client who felt the same way with you. First of all, obviously, you're not working in a toxic environment. So you're fine, right? You sound like it's a good place of work. You're just tired of what you do. Do not resign. That's the first. Do not resign from your job. Give it time, right? Give it time. And depending on the organization you are, you can ask for extra role, something else you would like to pivot to in that same organization. Bukunmi mentioned of how he learned a new skill, how he invested in a new skill in the same organization, which gave him more equity, which gave him more experience, and which even made him more valuable to the company. You can do the same thing, right? So that's what you are feeling is that stubbornness of change, one change. But that change must not be drastic. If it's not a toxic organization, do not leave the organization, because really, even the economies of things, Nigeria and everything, you need look at that business, your job, like a extra stream of income. If you put it that way, you're working, you're being excellent at it. It's one stream of income. Your other business you're trying to grow, the second stream of income. Do not rush out of it. The same client that I had, let me tell you the story, was working in the financial industry in Nigeria, notable one. She was tired. I said, stay. And within a year, she handled a project which was very pan-Nigerian, right? And she was noticed for what she was doing. Even though it was the same thing she had been doing for about 10 years, she was noticed again for it, and she was nominated for go for trainings in the UK, in America, all paid for by the company. After that, she decided to relocate to Canada to do her an MBA, a master's program. She went, the even company still kept her on payroll, and she was working both jobs, working in Nigeria and schooling. She finished from Canada, right, and landed a job similar to Nigerian jobs, right, and just resigned from that company, right? But The reason why she stayed there, that 1 year extra she stayed, gave her more visibility, more exposure, right? And that also added to her experience. So I would say stay where you are. What you are just feeling is restlessness, but it's not necessarily to leave your job. You could literally ask, is there any other project you want to take on that is in line with what you are passionate about, right? Sometimes that feeling is not necessarily leave your job. It's just, I want more. So ask for more in that space. Get a new skill or something, but don't be in a rush to leave it. I think that would be my advice. You are doing excellently where you are, but just stay and you'll be surprised what new experiences you will gather that could actually change. That can actually be in a year from now that you'll be like, wow, thank God I stayed, right? I think that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, Pastor Bukunmi. Please, can we have you in 2 minutes?
Okay. So give me okay. So let me quickly do it because I need to leave where I am. But let me just quickly answer the question. So what I said for clarity is that you shouldn't leave an organization because there is a crisis. Not so, but I love your question. So that's what I meant, because at times people, there's a bit of pressure. They're looking for another soft landing somewhere, and there's really no soft landing anywhere. Every organization has its challenges. Dr. Odabor had touched on some of the aspects of your question around knowing that if you leave, other people may leave. Now, I know there's an emotional part to your question because you're also looking at your self-interest against the organization's interest. There are several dimensions to it. Now, it said something around the toxic environment. If an organization, the environment of the organization is posing a threat, not just a sense of mental health that people say generally, there's pressure, you understand what I'm saying? Okay, I need to be careful because this is going all over, but I would say it tactfully. Many people, are not strong enough to withstand pressure and be resilient. There's a concept of resilience that seems to be lacking, especially in certain people, certain generations nowadays. Not everybody, it's not across board, but you find that at times, many of the young people going into careers, into jobs, a bit of pressure and they go into is affecting their mental health. However, if there are genuine issues going on, and it is clear that the tone at the top, which means even the leadership, is not doing anything, the toxic environment, it could damage you, not just physically, mentally, and it could impact your health and well-being. You should actually leave that organization. Prayerfully think about it, and then God will open up another door for you. Now, if it's a resourcing challenge, many times people don't know how strong the stake they have, how much power they have to go and engage, which is I try to address that culture thing first. You can talk to people in authority if there are major issues around resourcing that is impacting people's productivity, that's then making people exit. You can go and have a conversation and say, we need people, or else people will continue to leave. And if you are somebody who brings the value to the table, you can draw from that value base and make a demand. Sorry, something is dropping in the room. And make a demand on that value base. So I want to encourage you, so it's not a decision to be taken in a hurry. Like Doctor said, evaluate the options. If you decide to go and run the business, the question you ask yourself is, are you even sure that the business is a thriving business, quote and unquote? Is there a demand for that service or product in the market? Has it been proven to an extent? Or is it just something that you like doing and you think that everybody else will like doing it? So there are other conversations you may need to have and evaluate very well before you make a decision. Now, in closing, I would just like to say this because Coach said we should close. A few things that I didn't touch on. I just want to talk about it quickly in 1 minute. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your heart. I love talking about the hands and heart, the concept of the hands and heart. Your heart has to do with commitment. It's like the love that a man has for a woman, and then he can do anything for her. And your hands have to do with the things you then do from there. And finally, I want to encourage everyone who may be listening and those who will listen later to have a sense of gratitude. Wake up every day with a sense of gratitude for what you have, because what you think you don't have, what you think is not enough, is somebody's dream world. Thank you so much, Coach, and thank you, Coach. Coach ODB is also a coach, So, Dr. Odabor, for doing this with me.
Wow, this has been amazing. We cannot say thank you enough to this men that have invested so much. And we just have to give shout out to, how do I say it now? Pastor Bukunmi's boss. Is she still in the house? Can we put her on the spotlight to say hello to us?
She
I
has
was really
left.
touched. Oh, please give her our full well wish. Like, I'm really touched that this is what we are talking about. When your manager comes for your webinar outside work, you know that this one is a star performer. Please, everybody, can we unmute our mics and say thank you to these great men? Follow their handles. For our first timers, our handles are in the chat room also. Please do well to follow us, like, share videos, and share with your friends. So please, can we unmute and say thank you?
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sirs. We are grateful.
See you next time.